Welcome back to Sailing with the Jameses. Last week we left you guys off on a bit of a cliffhanger. We had just finished welding the framework for the new back deck roof and began fiberglassing it. This week we're excited to put the new roof in place, cut it to shape, glue it down, and get it all painted. Hi, we're the James family.
Are you sick of your day-to-day life? Ever thought about doing something different?
Well, we did just that.
We bought an unfinished aluminium catamaran and we're fixing her up as we sail around the world.
Come along for the journey and click subscribe.
Daddy? Mommy? Charlie? James.
Alright guys, so welcome to day number 2 of fiberglassing the back deck roof. So we've just flipped the roof over, so we're going to be doing the underside now.
So what we found is our span, it's 5.5 meters long and it's 2.4 meters wide. So we're doing a big section and our plan is to put it up there and then cut it to shape so we get the shape exactly right. The offcuts will then already be glassed and made up, and hopefully we can use them for furniture, chairs, cupboards, something like that a little bit later on. But we found that doing such a big span at once is actually a fair bit of work, especially when you're novices. But yeah, what we did notice is that there's been a little bit of bleed through in the actual foam itself. It's come through the bottom there. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to mix a bit of carbocel with it just to thicken it up, to put it along the top to make a nice smooth surface. Then by the time we've done the whole lot, it would have started to go off a little bit. Then we can start laying the glass, then put the peel play on it straight away so that it can bleed through, and we'll just work our way across. There's one piece here in the corner that already has fiberglass on it. The reason for that is we were going to use it for a different project, but rather than buy more, we didn't need it for the other one. We'll just use it for this one. And we've sanded the edge and we're just going to overlay, because we want solid matting on the seams. We don't want to butt the matting up on where a seam is in the foam. We'll just have a bit of an overlap there and a bit of an overlap at the other end, and let's get to it.
Once the fiberglass roof was dry, it was time to transport it from the shed to the boat. The community here is amazing. The roof measures over 5 meters wide, and when we asked for help to carry it across the yard, everyone nearby immediately set aside what they were doing to assist. It's truly inspiring the strong sense of community this boatyard has, with everyone eager to support one another. Alright guys, we've got the canopy on, so come on into our lovely abode.
Oh, it's awesome. It absolutely transforms the boat. So a couple of things we found. We lifted the glass up on here. We found that this here wasn't actually perfectly straight. So we made it a straight foam edge, and we've had to modify it and trim it in order for it to fit. And we're looking at doing a bit of overhang at the edges, but we can't at the back here because it's so close to the main sheets. And the higher the boom is, the closer it gets. So we've just got raw foam at the moment, cut it roughly to shape, and we'll have to finish the edges. One of the next pretty interesting things we're going to do is, when we were looking at extending the boat, one of the things we explored was building fiberglass pods and attaching them to the back of the aluminium. And that's why we built the pods in the tender, having a look. And turns out we did go with aluminium there, but we've got this stuff called TechniGlue. And so what we're going to try and do, it's meant to be constructional strength, and we're going to TechniGlue the foam to the top of the beams here. And that means we don't have to do any penetrations, any screws or anything like that. We'll clean all the paint off the edge here, clean up all of the aluminium, and then TechniGlue it down and see how long it lasts.
Alright, hon, where are we at with the roof?
Well, she's all glued down, and let me tell you, it's an absolute game changer having this here. And the stuff that we use, the TechniGlue, boy oh boy is that strong. So what we've used up until this point is an epoxy resin with carbocells, which is a thickening agent that goes in there, and you can grind away that. I can't grind away this TechniGlue. It is solid as a rock, so she's stuck down really, really well. What we've also done is, when we're practicing doing our tender extensions, we got some PVC pipe to put it on the outside as a protector. We've done exactly the same thing here. So we've got that, we carbocelled it on with epoxy, and then now we've got a fairing compound on the outside. So we just got to give it one final sand, and we're going to wrap some biaxial glass around it. The reason you need to wrap the biaxial glass is if you leave it just exposed like this, even if you paint it, there's a good chance it may crack, and that'll just prevent all the cracking. And then we work on the top sides, but the underneath will be completed.
And this has revolutionized the boat inside.
Completely. And then we have some plans which we'll be able to share with you maybe a little bit later on the deck here.
Watch this space, guys.
Watch this space. So we're getting close to finishing the roof now. The next step is we're going to tape underneath the edge here, and we'll carbocell and smooth all of this edge off, make sure it's glued on here really nice, then use a fairing compound just to smooth the transition between the roof and our extension. Once that's done, we've got these bits of foam here. Now what they're for our rain catchers. So on our existing roof, this is our rain catcher here. They work absolutely awesome. It goes in through a hole here, down to a pipe, through a basic filter, and into our water tanks. So what we want to do is extend the coverage all the way onto this wonderful big back deck here. Once we've shaped this and we glass this up, the next step we need to do is we're going to cut the top off this existing rain catcher. And the reason we're doing that is because we've got 4 wonderful new panels that we're going to be putting on here. Now, we want to spread them out as far as possible to avoid as much shading from our boom. So what we're going to do is cut the top off here, and we'll actually bring the solar panels right out to the edge here. We're going to be putting some canvas in that underneath the edge here anyway, so it can come right out. And they're going to be mounted with these here, so we just need to cut the top off so we can put them on, and we'll be ready to go. Then the fun part, painting.
Remember a few weeks ago when we removed the front windows to install new windows with forward-facing hatches? They still aren't in yet, as the material just arrived a couple days ago, but the windows are not the only things up front that are changing. Hey guys, so as you can see, there's a few things happening behind me, but before we go into the finer details, let's catch you up on what's been happening. While Robin was fabricating the framework for the back deck roof, he was also fabricating brows for Emma as well. We are not only extending the sugar scoops and the back deck roof, but we are also extending the rooftop above the forward windows. 2 identical brows were cut and constructed, and then welded to the front of the boat with support beams. Alright, so now that you guys are all caught up, let's head on over and check out this project. So what's been happening?
Well, during this refit, Emma has really come into her own and gaining a really good personality, so we decided we'd give her a set of eyebrows. Now, I know what you're thinking. Geez, these things are ugly. But they're very, very, very practical. So when we were doing our research for putting the eyebrow on, we came across a couple of things. Some say that in very heavy seas, that the water will come up, wash up the windows, and then damages the brow. So what we've done to counteract that is we've got another bar here at the back, and then there's a gap so that the water can run through. And also a little bit of the airflow. But surprisingly, the people that have done this, they say that it doesn't actually slow them down. They haven't noticed any speed difference at all with having this here and it not being as aerodynamic as it could be. But as most of our sailing that we do is downwind anyway, this won't affect us at all within those regards. We've left the gap just in case some heavy seas do come. We're also not going to TechniGlue it in. We're only going to carbocell it in, which is a slightly weaker way of putting it in, so that if we do get some heavy seas, it can just pop off. We're left with the frame, and then we'll just re-fiberglass the inside and yeah, take it from there. But another added advantage is when we have our hatches underneath, we're going to have the ability to open the hatches when it's raining. So we can have the back door open with our wonderful back roof, the front hatch is open because of this here, and get some fluid jar through the cabin when it's raining in the tropics, which I think is going to be absolutely amazing.
You might be the one that truly got me. I feel it too. You might be the one that truly got me. I feel it too.
We're very proud of Emma's new eyebrows, but we're really interested in knowing what you think. Let us know in the comments below what you think of Emma's new eyebrows. Thank you so much for watching. A big thanks to our Patreons. Your support helps make these videos possible.